Okay. Hi, this is Ice Blue 53. Currently, it is December the 5th, 2025. Okay, so I guess I'm going to give an update in regards to a few things that have gone on inside of the news so far. I think Donald Trump, he's made several announcements. I think he did some kind of conference with, I think he did a roundtable meeting. And basically, he went over all his accomplishments, but I mean, I really just didn't care too much about it. I mean, after he signed that November 13th CR bill, basically he closed the hemp the 2018 hemp loophole or whatever, and so I'm like, okay, well, Donald Trump's he's not going to have a leg to stand on. He did another meeting, I think, and I think the head people of Ford were there too as well, and basically he said that Ford was going to invest like several billions inside the United States. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know who's going to be able to afford those trucks or cars or whatever, but okay. I mean, after he closed that 2018 loophole or whatever, I'm thinking like does he think that Joe Rogan is gonna vote for him? Does he think that Mike Tyson is gonna vote for him again? I mean, yes, I don't regret voting for him in 2024 because this Democrat agenda, but 2020 when come 2026, I don't plan on voting for him. And I saw the astrology for it, and I'm like, I did my last video was about it, but I didn't see the transits. I didn't go back and look at the transits. And the transits look even crazier than the progressions. So all I know is that Donald Trump, he's going to be very, very pissed off about the results of the 2026 election. And transit Jupiter is going to do something I've never seen happen. But I don't really pay attention to transits, but in astrology. But transit Jupiter is going to go retrograde. Let me pause for a second to get the exact dates. Okay, I'm going to just give a few dates for now. Let me pause for a second again. Okay, so I'll give about like 3 or 4 dates for now because I just want to get on back to basically the just rambling for a minute, then I get the astrology last because like I said, the astrology is just boring. So anyway, so transiting Jupiter is going to conjoin transiting K2 in the sky, not inside Donald Trump's chart, but transiting K2 inside of the sky. And I think the last time something conjoined K2 in the sky, there was the sun, and that was when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I think, right? So Jupiter is going to conjoin K2 in the sky on November the 11th. This is after the election 2026. And see, also Donald Trump, he's going to have a Mars return. And that happens on, the first one happens on November 18th, 2026. But see, point. Jupiter's going to station on December 12th, 2026, and it's going to go retrograde. And it's going to retrograde all the way back to reconjoin K2 inside of the sky. And that happens on, second time is going to be March 1st, 2027. And the last time it hits is going to be transit Jupiter conjoining K2 inside of the sky. It's going to conjoin K2 in the sky the third time on April 19th, 2027. This is crazy because I'm like, you don't hardly ever see a slow moving planet retrograde and then conjoin a already retrograding point in the sky because K2 or the nodes are not they're not a planet. So that's I would assume that's a big deal. I've never seen it happen. I've only studied astrology for like 8 years. And so, but I've never seen this, and this is around the time that Donald Trump's having a lot of bad progressions. On I said I was gonna give two astrological situations. This is gonna be the last one. Well, I won't give it two more, and I'm done for now. But like I said, I've never seen this happen before, so it's significant because Donald Trump's having bad astrology at this point in time too. So on December the please let me here. So on November the 19th, 2026, for Donald Trump, his progressed moon in Sagittarius is going to trine his progressed Saturn in Leo. And that's anything that aspects Saturn is a very, very bad event. And this is right around the time of the election. That's why I say he's not going to be too happy about the midterm elections. But also on December 9th, 2026, for Donald Trump, his progressed moon is going to conjoin his natal Lilith. He's going to be pissed about something. I don't know if it's going to be election irregularities. I don't know what. Either he loses or there's election irregularities, and they have to go back and look into some stuff. All I know is that this election is going to be crazy. So I already told you. Okay, so I'm done with this astrology for now. But I've already said I'm not voting in 2026. If Jennifer Booth's shop, Canabama, is not back open, I'm not voting. And I mean, Donald Trump was talking about some bringing companies and companies and countries investing inside of the United States or whatever. I'm like, look, there's that's good and all to impress your rich friends and etc. But I mean, the average person does not care, is not even looking at that. They're like, okay, well, we can. I went to the store, what was it, 2 days ago, trying to buy some black pepper. Black pepper is like $5 for a little container. The cheapest one I could find was $3.25, and it was a small one. And so, and that's just one seasoning. I mean, you need salt too. I mean, salt used to be 50 cents. It's $1 now. And I'm like, it's stuff like that. And so, I mean, for him to close that the 2018 loophole in the Farm Bill in regards to marijuana and the legalization of marijuana, I mean, I'm like, there's no reason for me to waste my time going to a voting booth or whatever and really risking my life in regards to voting, and these Democrats are going crazy. Just saying. And I mean, do I really care about like going to the voting booth for real? No, I don't. But it's like, what am I mean, Donald Trump is touting pretty much on, okay, the immigration situation. Okay, that's good, all and dandy. But if you think about it, Donald Trump's running the country as a police chief. That's understandable. That is his job. I understand that. But the things that he's touting, that is his job. That's what you expect for a president to do. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, that's the cake, but where's the icing? That's the cake, but where's the flowers? Where's the sparkles and all those stuff, whatever. And so if he found a way to ease student debt, that would be great. That would be. So I don't have any student debt, but I mean, that's a very, very big talking point. So the closing loophole inside of the 2018 Farm Bill was just it's a nail in the coffin for me. And I mean, I already see that in the future, civil war, basically. The astrology shows civil war, and so I'm just something like, okay. Like I said, Pluto. In my last video, I said Pluto entering Aquarius. The same stuff that these monopolies thought would work. These huge companies, these legacy companies, they thought it was going to work. It's not going to work anymore. Pluto entering Aquarius it means a humanitarian crisis. So let me pause for a second. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, pretty much having these countries invest inside the United States and looking at Ford, which is basically a I'm not gonna call Ford a monopoly because there are other car companies, but anyway, these legacy companies, they're not gonna. Things are gonna change. Either they're gonna have to either innovate in such a way that it's just life changing, or they're gonna get destroyed. That's all that it really boils down to with Pluto inside of Aquarius, and then also transiting Uranus entering Gemini. That happens on April the 26th, 2026, I think. 26. That's interesting. Anyway, let's see here. So anyway, I guess that's in my little ramble or whatever. I think I saw that Dan Bongino on his birthday, apparently they ended up Dan Bongino and the rest of them, they ended up rounding up the January 6th pipe bomber. But honestly, I'm really not interested inside of that. I don't know if I said it's already inside of this video or not. Like I had to redo this video like what, 4 times. But anyway, I'm not really interested inside of the January 6th pipe bomb or whatever. I'm more so interested inside of the vote counting that happened inside of 2020. More so specifically inside of Georgia, where Brian Kemp said that he was going to let me pause a second. There's somebody shooting over there. But anyway, I need to get my dog on pistol. But anyway, so I'm more so interested inside of when basically Brian Kemp inside of Georgia and Kelly Loeffler inside of Georgia, they said that they were going to recount or do a recount of the votes And apparently, I think days later, a staff member, his car ended up exploding, or not exploding. He had a car accident, reportedly. And apparently his car, when they got to the scene, his car was like on fire. Like, it looked like it exploded, like it caught. It looked like something out of a movie. And so apparently, I think that's when the votes didn't get recounted. With, I think the votes was supposed to be recounted with I think it's not digital ID matching. It was I think they had to you. Let me pause a second. Okay, so I think it was called the signature ID, where a person's signature must match um their voting signature or something like that. And so they didn't do the signature match or whatever inside of Georgia. And yeah, anyway, so I'm more so interested inside of that, and basically some kind of forensic situation to figure out what happened with was it a natural car accident, or was it a C4 incident? Anyway, so that's why I'm more so interested inside of it. And also the Danny Williams Clinton situation, to see if Bill Clinton is actually Danny Williams' actual biological son. Hey, pause. I need to go up there and check up the somebody over there shooting again. Hey, pause. Okay, sorry about that. I had to check that out. But anyway, I think I was talking about the signature verification in regards to Georgia and Brian Kemp and Kelly Loeffler and their staff member. His car getting apparently either blown up or having a bad car accident, and apparently that staff member or whatever, his girlfriend was Brian Kemp's daughter, and so luckily she wasn't inside of the car with him when the incident happened. So let's see here. I hope that's where I stopped at. And like I was saying, was pretty much everything Donald Trump is doing, that's basically his job. Like, I mean, okay, that's the cake right there. Where's the icing? Where's the little designs on the cake? All this other stuff, whatever. That will make the people vote for you. Like because as of as of now, I don't plan on voting for Donald Trump in 2026. I don't plan on voting at all, and going to the voting booth or whatever. And we're having the same charges of civil war and stuff like that, and people are going to be doing crazy shit. So I mean, but we're in Alabama, so you already know what we're gonna vote. But still, how this place is gonna vote? Maybe, because looking at all the Jabari Peoples, him being shot over a police officer smelling marijuana, or claiming to have smelled marijuana, even though hemp, which has the same smell as marijuana, was legal at the time of Jabari Peoples' slaying. I mean, you could easily create an independent party in regards to the people that are trying to get marijuana legal outside of Alabama, and call it the People's Party, using basically his name. That's easy. And then also, let's see, and then because understand that the governor's spot is open inside of Alabama, and Tommy Tuberville, he's stepping down from being a senator to try to be the governor. I think inside of one video he said that he can't do that much inside of the Senate, so that's why he wants to be a governor, even though he says he's also a team player. So figure that shit out if you can. But he was saying that he's humble. Inside one of these interviews, I was going to make a video in regards to Alabama, and pretty much trying to get marijuana rescheduled inside of Alabama, and also trying to find a way to get the casino inside of Alabama, or the casinos for some kind of limits to be taken off the casinos or whatever, but also get the to bring the Mega Millions and the Powerball to Alabama. But it's I haven't I don't have no storage on my phone to do it now. But I was planning on making a video in regards to Tommy Tuberville, but that's probably gonna be inside of the future. Anyway, let's see here. So my overall point is that I don't think Donald Trump has a leg to stand on. People want their student debt eased in some kind of way. At least turn off the or stop the interest rates, or find a way to make them lower or something like that, so that the people who can only pay the bare minimum they can at least get ahead, because there's some people that are saying that they've been paying the bare minimum for their student loan debts for like years, like 20 years like that, and they still owe the same amount of money as they owed basically when they first got the student loans. And the job that they got in regards to their student loans, they they um they can't find a job that matches what they went to school for. And I'm looking at Donald Trump. He held this other meeting in regards to the child, was it tax credits or something like that, or this Trump child situation or whatever, where he said that he's going to put like some money, set aside some money in regards to a person's child or children or whatever, and by the time they're like 18 or whatever, they're going to have a lot more money inside their account. It's like their first investment account or whatever. I think he's going to call it a Trump account. And I'm like, that's a great way for people to learn how to invest, or the children to learn how to invest in their futures. But there are people who went to school to invest inside of themselves and basically their families. They was hoping to get rid of family, what do you call it, the family curse, or the let me pause a second to get the correct or what you could break the family. Let me pause for a second. Okay, I couldn't find it out here. So I think it's called the generational curse, or the family generational curse, where families they can't get ahead, or they're trying to be the first person to go to college inside of their family, and basically just get out and do something. So that isn't an investment. And so you're talking about these Trump accounts or whatever, when people are already trying to invest, and they did invest, and they can't find a job, you know. And so I was trying to find the correct terminology of it, and I forgot I had some notes right here. So let me pause for a second. But again, I think it's called the generational curse, where people, they expect to sit up and like go to college and like make something of themselves, and yet it turns out to be like a trap, and a trap that basically makes them a slave for the rest of their lives. That's why I said that Pluto entering inside of Aquarius is basically like people are slaves to this government based on these student loans and student debts that they pretty much probably will never be able to get out of. So let me pause for a second. Okay, so I mean, in look at my notes. So I forgot in my last video to talk about the sword of Damocles and Donald Trump. So I mean, but you can say this inside of reverse too. Basically, Donald Trump, he is a blessed man. He has his ascendant Lord conjunct the fixed star regulars, meaning that he's looking at the astrology. The astrology says that he's a king. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, you can say that, oh, he's not a king. The astrology says that he's, if you Google Regulus and what it means king or prince. Anyway, but the point is that pretty much I would never want to be him looking at his astrology, because of the story of the sword of Damocles or whatever. And I've already said in my previous video that me and Donald Trump, our charts are like literally the polar opposites. However, there's something special inside of his chart, and there's something special inside of my chart that makes it so that we can both do things. Anyway, the point, the sword of Damocles, I would never want to be him because he's forced to be king. Either, and he's put inside of a survival situation where he has no choice but to climb straight to the top. And so that's what I'm saying. After this 2026 election or whatever, he's going to be put inside of survival mode. In my last video, I said that the last times that this astrology happened inside Donald Trump's chart, basically he had a bankruptcy at one point in time. He was sued by the civil rights movement, I believe, where they said that he discriminated against black people. And they said he and his father and their company discriminated against black people in regards to allowing black people as tenants inside of their or I guess what he called, or inside of a book that he wrote, in welfare cases. And so he was sued. I think they settled without any admission of guilt. But like I said, it also reminds me in regards to Bill Clinton, of the Danny Williams Clinton situation. So I mean, both sides, Democrats and Republicans, have their own black sheep or whatever. Black sheep. Anyway, thinking of Danny Williams Clinton, and anyway, talk about a red-headed stepchild. He was treated. If the story comes out to be true, Danny Williams Clinton was treated worse than a redheaded stepchild, like a black sheep. So, like I said, pretty much both sides had their own skeletons. Anyway, my overall point though, so the other thing that happened was pretty much in regards to Donald Trump having the same astrology or whatever. I think Donald Trump he had to sue the banks in regards to there was a recession that happened. I think the 2008 recession or whatever, and he had to sue them for more time to pay off his debts or loans or something like that. And so the same astrology is going to happen, I believe, around the same time, around the time of this 2026 election, and then so on, all the way up throughout until 2032, I think, right? Anyway, it's here, but I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to get to my notes. I might not even add any more astrology to this video because it's already 20 minutes. But let's see here. Let me pause for a second. But my overall point in regards to that was that the sword of Damocles. You can be king. I mean, if you want to be Donald Trump, you gotta take everything that it comes with, and that's the lows too. And I mean, so the story of the sword of Damocles. There's, I think, I'm gonna give like a very, very, very short paraphrase. There was this king, there was this peasant or servant or whatever, and the servant he was so jealous of the king, not jealous. He was in awe of the king and everything, all his riches or whatever. And so he said, "I would love to be you." And so the king said, "Okay, fine." And so the peasant or the servant or whatever, he sat on his throne for like a day or whatever. And then so I think at one point in time he was drinking wine and putting on a crown and playing with all the jewelry and all this other stuff or whatever, eating like a king. And so he looked up and he was horrified to see that there was this sword hanging above his head, and it was hung there, and it was only there by strung up by one single strand of a horsehair, and it could have fell at any time and killed him. And so that's what Donald Trump has to deal with. That's why there's a saying that never wish for what somebody else has, because you don't know what it comes with. And so that's when I think the peasant he ran out of the out from under the throne or whatever. I guess the king was probably like, you see what your ass get." And so, like I said, my chart is the polar opposite. And so the more I try to climb or whatever, I get every boss that I've had. I've got to say this in my last video or my last videos or whatever. Every boss that I had, they fired me for some stupid reason or whatever. But weirdly enough, I said Donald Trump, he had something weird inside the chart. I had something weird inside my chart too. Weirdly enough, every time they try to fire me or whatever, they ended up getting fired somehow, some way. And I'm like, and not just them. Everyone that tried to sit up and mess me over, they got fired too. This is what happened inside my last job and the previous job for that too, and the previous job for that too, and the previous job for that, even my first job. So I'm like, so it's something inside my chart that I'm like, if I may lose something, but I don't really lose. And what I learned looking at astrology is that what is meant for you is meant for you. So anyway, I guess that's just a lesson for me, because I've always tried to strive to get to the top and be the best at whatever I was trying to get and get what I was trying to get. But it's like there's a limit. There's a glass ceiling or whatever, and when I hit that glass ceiling, it's like, oh, so I may break, but everything breaks. So anyway, I hope that was on my point. I hope I don't sound too crazy. I'm up here trying to look out for something over there, and then doing this at the same time, and hopefully I try to make this video like 4 or 5 times or whatever, and I kept getting interrupted. So let me pause for a second. And so I got written down here, hopefully I'm not out of sorts or anything. I said the Trump accounts in regards to the children getting this money or whatever, it's bullshit. The big beautiful bill and Giving Tuesday, I think this is on December 2nd, 2025, when he had this this meeting or whatever with these 4 companies, and he was also talking about this Trump accounts in regards to children. People already invested inside of their futures, and look how it turns out for them. They're inside of student debt and they can't get out of it. And that's one thing. That's something they will vote for. And if a Democrat brought that up, which they have, and they played inside people's faces. Oops. But yeah, my point. Get rid of student debt. Legalize marijuana. find a way to lower the prices of food, and that's just that. Well, I said, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, and another thing that is that Donald Trump, he said that he was going to implement these Trump accounts in regards to the children on July 4th, 2026. And this is the exact same day as when transiting Mars will conjoin transiting Uranus in the sky. That is a very, very bad day and a very, very bad time to do that. But anyway, I'm done. I'm like, all I can do is really just sit back and watch and grab me a snack and just watch. I'm like, okay. Anyway. Mm-mm-mm. And another thing is, in regards to Donald Trump, I think I said earlier in this video. I hope I did. But I repeat myself. Basically, I said, does Donald Trump think that Joe Rogan and his crew is going to vote for him? Does Donald Trump think that Joe Rogan is going to vote for him after closing the 2018 loophole? Does he think that Mike Tyson is going to vote for him? I already said I'm not going to vote for him. But I'm looking at. I saw this this meeting that Trump did with Ford or whatever, and basically what it boiled down to me was, I'm like, Ford, the people at Ford, they don't care who's in office. They're rich enough to pay, they pay both sides. They're not going to vote for you, and so they have enough money to pivot either way, and they probably don't even vote. They're too busy making money. I'm still saying that Donald Trump has no leg to stand on in regards to this 2026 election. So, yeah. And I mean, and another thing is that the only people that may have watched that meeting are people who really don't really vote, or they don't really, they're the minor, they're the minority, while the majority of the people who do vote, they vote for more so all-encompassing things. I mean, you could say that that's all-encompassing, but I can't afford no brand new doggone Ford truck. I mean, what kind of people do you think that can afford a brand new Ford truck? But how many people do you think are inside of student debt? How many people follow Joe Rogan and are also marijuana users? How many people are fans of Mike Tyson and are marijuana users? And so, let's see here. So let's put that up against how many people own Ford companies. How many people work for Ford? I mean, I'm pretty sure they have a lot of workers, but anyway, that's the minority, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to appeal to. Anyway, and I do know that they have businesses, and they produce trucks and cars and all that stuff, whatever. But I'm like, even if I were rich or ran into a fuck ton of money, whatever, I'm probably gonna buy used. But anyway, unless they want to sponsor me or whatever. But anyway, let me pause for a second. And another thing, in regards to Ford, the company, where's the innovation? Like I was watching a Canadian prepper video earlier today, and basically this man, he was saying that pretty much China is innovating. They're basically pushing all of their gas cars out of their country so that they can focus more on EV cars. And so I'm just like, where's the innovation? Where are the flying cars at? Where? Anyway, so let me go down. Let me pull. Let me get a little joke in here real quick, and then I won't head on straight to the astrology, and then I won't call it a day. Let me pause for a second. Let me insert a joke real quick, but let me pause for a second again. Okay, so I don't know if I've said this already or not, but anyway, the point is that pretty much I was talking about Dan Bongino in his January 6th pipe bomber or whatever, and they finally called him, and I think he called him Dan Bongino. He called him on his birthday, which is apparently December the 4th. But on this morning, I mean on the morning, the day before this news broke, I watched a video in regards to this game tuber. I hope I haven't said this already yet because I recorded this video like 5 times. But anyway, I want you to say it again if I haven't. But her name is I was watching this game tuber. Her name is Jazzy Guns, and so she made this gameplay video in regards to a game called Fever Meme or Meme Fever or whatever. And so in this video game, it was like white walls. And so it looked almost like my dream. That I said I had on November 11th, 2025. But it wasn't exactly like that. But it's basically, there was this one scene where she went under this wall. And I was like, wow, it looks exactly almost like my dream. And so next I think this is probably out of order. But I won't say it like this because I really don't care. I didn't post any kind of predictions. So it's like it's moot point. And also I really don't care about the J6 pipe bomber or whatever. But anyway, so I didn't. So what I'm basically saying is that this is not me saying that something's going to happen before it happened, or it's not. Anyway, the point. I'm tired. So basically, I think after I watched that video and saw that it looked almost like my dream, I think I got a tweet from Dan Bongino, and pretty much there was this I think he was released some emails like that, and pretty much as soon as I clicked it, I heard another phone because I have 3 phones. It said like I cannot be silent anymore, and I'm like, what's going on here? So I have 3 phones. So I walk up to the phone. I'm like, okay, so you're gonna send me some money? So the joke is that pretty much I'm like, I feel sorry for any FBI or CIA agent or whatever that has to watch me. Like I'm like, my life is so boring. My life is so boring that you can sit there and watch paint dry and probably like enjoy that more than watching me. I do nothing. Anyway, but I mean, I guess they probably have to watch me since I correctly predicted the Charlie Kirk assassination and the National Guard's killing or whatever, and a few other things too. But anyway, so I said I was gonna get to the oh yeah, I was gonna do like a little line of the Michael Jackson situation, the Michael Jackson song. I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I had no privacy. Anyway, so I said I was gonna go over some of the astrology. There's a lot of notes here. I'm not gonna do it. I'm already like 32 minutes in. Basically, all it says is that basically Donald Trump's not gonna be happy about the results of the midterm elections, and that also could lead to a civil war situation. So, yeah, that's pretty much it in regards to that. Looking to Danny Williams Clinton. Bye for now.